I'm pleased to say that John certainly has made some very valuable contributions to the institution, not only to the facility, but to many inmates who have chose to attend his sessions. And I did attend the first 2 sessions, and I and the other members of the executive staff were extremely pleased to hear a lot of the information that he was passing out, and it was beneficial for my own self as a person, and I'm quite sure that it was a benefit to the inmates. The results have been excellent. I've had many inmates come up and comment that they would be interested in seeing more of these programs conducted at the institution. And it does a dual purpose. Not only does it help them as individuals, but it also shores up and reaffirms many of the things that they have heard from various staff members. And obviously, when you begin to hear things that are continuously redundant, some of that must sink in, and I hope they walk away with a good learning experience and better equipped to make a transition back into being a productive citizen in any community. John's program provides them with a number of tools, in addition with some of the other skills that they can pick up in this correctional setting, to give them the best possible chance of reintegrating themselves back into a community to lead a productive life. So I think that communities across the nation should take a look at this, because we're not talking about total and complete strangers. We're talking about people's sons and daughters, neighbors, in-laws, and they will have to return at some point back out to someone's community and be a productive citizen. So everyone does have a vested interest. So I think all we can do as correctional practitioners is to provide them with as many tools as possible to hopefully cause them to not come back to jail and to assume their responsibilities as parents and as spouses, and again be productive members of a society that needs them.
This program provides an opportunity for those choices to be made by the individuals. It provides those people who have functioned out of the box in a criminal fashion with an opportunity to reevaluate what is important to them, to develop those skills that are necessary to learn to succeed on the outside from the inside. I think that the cost of a program like this is very, very small compared to the consequences of not providing it. This type of community service that's provided by John and by the Inside program is something that just contributes tremendously to our ability to provide meaningful correctional services in this state.
Lance is an ex-offender who attended the Unlock program shortly before his release. Today, Lance is executive head chef and director of catering for a major metropolitan hotel.
You need somebody to say to you, hey, yeah, you know, you can do it. You can make it. I mean, you're not helpless. This isn't a hopeless situation. And a lot of people feel that way. A whole lot of them. I mean, even with, and I was, you know, just getting ready to be released. You know, when you came in, I still had a lot of doubts. A whole lot of doubts. And you helped to erase some of those. You know, here's a guy saying, hey, you can make it. You can lose everything and you can make it. And that's a lot.
So you went to the parole board and you were telling the guys that some changes were made in you. So could you give me a little bit of background on that?
Well, changing perspective, changing the way I think, changing the person that I see in the mirror. That's what they asked me. They will ask, what has changed? Well, I have changed. I've changed the way I think, the way I think about things and people, and most importantly, the way I think about myself.
Well, when you first came in here, some of the comments that you had versus the comments that you have now, they're a little bit different.
Well, when I came in here, I had read your book, and I'm a closer also. And I really believe that my product is a good product and they need it. And it doesn't matter how they get to their decision, as long as they get to the decision. And if I'm the person to manipulate them into that decision, I think that the end justifies the means.
Right.
Well, this has created a dilemma for me because I no longer think that way.
Right.
So how am I going to be successful in what I do?
So now you have both sides.
Right.
Right.
So I've decided to buy the company and change how things are done.
There you go. There you go. Well, any advice that you have for the guys that are new, or what it is, especially since you've been through the class and now you're here again, anything that you could think of that would be good for them to keep in mind?
Well, I think a lot of people take this class for the board. I took this class for the board, but I'm here again for me. I started AA for the certificates, but I got it by osmosis,
right.
and it's important to me now. I now have a sponsor. This is important to the board. When they leaned up and paid attention, you know, they sat back and asked me questions, but when they asked me about the change program, they sat up and they paid attention. But it really is about what you want to do for yourself. I don't want to come back here. Some of my friends noticed that in me. They said, you're serious about this. You've already made your board, but you're still going to AA. You're still going to John Ross. No, I don't want to come back here. I want to make these changes and make those changes stick.
Yeah.
It's one thing to change today and be the same tomorrow, but it's one thing to change and really make it stick in your life.
Well, what do you say to the guys who say that, well, I've been a criminal all my life, how am I going to be different?
Change what you see in the mirror.
So maybe a piece at a time or a step at a time?
Small steps at a time. Nothing changes overnight and stays that way. I can pretend to change, but I think the most important thing is small steps. Each day, a small step. Have goals, long-term, short-term, intermediate goals.
Right.
How do you get there? You don't get there. You know, if I made $136 last year, I'm not going to make $250,000 unless I change everything.
Right, right.
And for me, my biggest change was getting here on time. That was my first step.
Right. Hey, man, thanks.
John, thank you.
First of all, there's a way of changing your life. And I think that when you want to succeed in life and want to make things different, first of all, you have to want to change. And upon wanting to change, you find a program that can help you change. And then once something that can help you change, you find a system. And most systems that are designed are not, quote unquote, designed to help you change, but I think that certain systems are designed to help you change. And when you find the change, you have to go with it to make the change and make your life different.
And do you think, especially now that we're talking about the Insight Corporation and the Change Program, do you think it's a change program or do you think it's just a program?
No, I think the Change Program offers a lot more than ordinary programs. And I think that within the Change Program, you'll find a certain structure and a certain basis that will help you significantly in changing your life. You don't have to even be in prisons for the change system to work for you.
What do you say to the people who say that people who are in prison, they're not going to change, there's no way to rehabilitate them, and we should just lock them up and throw away the key and do the political thing?
Well, I really believe that that's a silly thing to say, because I think everyone who are involved with prison or in prison are able to make that change. The system is not designed to change them, but I think that with enacting programs like this, it will help design a change for people in those programs. I believe the private sector has to take more empathy for the people who are involved within prison walls and realize that those people are going to get out one day. So unless we enact programs like this to help people change, you're going to get a person who's very angry, very irritable, and don't know about changing and don't want to change at the time. I don't think it's possible within the prison with the way it is right now to make those changes. That's why programs have to be enacted, to make that change, to make them able to change.
Why is it that you're interested in helping the Insight Corporation, the Change Program? How would you respond to that?
I want to help people help change their lives. I think that the greatest gift of all is being able to help people change their life. More celebrities and more people need to get behind programs like this to help make a change in our prisons. So therefore, it can make our streets a lot safer. I think that we need more tolerance, we need more humanity, and then we need more patience. And we have to realize that everyone didn't have the same upbringing as we may have had, and everyone didn't have maybe the same parents we may have. So that's what patience, tolerance, and humanity step in to make that change.